Life is a paradox, and you are a living, breathing paradox. In a world of duality, paradoxes naturally arise because duality itself is built on the coexistence of opposites, such as light and dark, stillness and movement, form and formlessness. These apparent opposites are actually one and the same. But the modern mind is rigid in its thinking, and it struggles to fathom holding seemingly opposing truths at once. So we tend to reject one side of polarity and cling to the other in order to not contradict ourselves. But in doing so, we actually bypass the paradox and reinforce the division rather than integration. So, to put it simply, we don't have to just pick one side and cancel the other one out. We can actually acknowledge the truth of both so called opposites, and we can bring them together to work simultaneously. And actually bringing them together, what it does is it essentially eliminates these opposites to begin with, ultimately unifying them. So, when we recognize that apparent polarities such as light and dark, stillness and movement, form and formlessness are not separate but interdependent, we can begin to accept the paradoxical nature of life, becoming more equanimous and neutral. Here, we perceive reality from a non dual perspective. Instead of taking sides, we acknowledge multiple truths and learn to hold both perspectives at once, ultimately transcending dualistic thinking and realizing the absolute unity of existence. So, how do we practically apply this knowledge? Well, we are all trying to figure out our own personal way of living in this grand mystery. And we all have our own personal way of thinking. And this thinking rules our life in any given moment. It rules our state of being in any given moment. So, in order to live more peacefully, more masterfully, more in a state of wholeness and actually flowing with existence rather than resisting it, we have to alchemize these ingrained ways of thinking, and our life changes as a result. So let's consider a paradox that I believe to be very, very important. So we can clearly see the world of form around us, yet there is a mysterious force that animates everything, a force that gives birth to existence and all that is seen and unseen. And we are an integral part of this force. It lives through us, it knows itself through us, and yet it is completely unseen and it remains beyond words. It is unknowable. But it is omnipresent and it is formless. Here, multiple truths coexist. Relatively speaking, we are having an experience of form. Our soul, our spirit temporarily animates this body to partake in an individual journey. Yet, even the soul itself is animated by a deeper, mysterious force. This suggests that individuality is not as separate as it seems. In absolute truth, the very experience of separation is an illusion. Form and formlessness, duality and oneness, all are truths that exist simultaneously. We are both the wave and the ocean, and we have our non-dual practice so that we may move away from living in purely dualistic truth, to really begin to glimpse and know our oneness with all life. We bring our formlessness into the world of form, and we invite spaciousness into our life. In doing so, we begin to allow this space to reveal a sense of unity. We heal the pain body. We create space between our thoughts, and we empty our mind of judgment and rigid thinking. This means detaching from the judgments of the dualistic mind and becoming equanimous with what we consider to be both good and bad, knowing that in this world, one cannot exist without the other. So all has its place in our reality. So we stop running away from uncomfortable energy to desperately chase the good energy. We allow what is there in any moment to be. We understand that both yin and yang are crucial aspects of the whole, and that we would not exist in the world right now without these polarities, since they are dependent upon one another for their very existence. And so, we let life be as it is. Nature doesn't judge itself, and it doesn't judge the other trees and animals. It doesn't have this concept of good or bad. I can go for a walk alone in the forest looking like a complete mess and feel totally comfortable because I know I'm not going to get judged. And likewise, with this practice, with our non-dual practice, as we begin to realize this pure awareness, this true self that is beyond our egoic identity, this true self that is us, the absolute self, it doesn't judge either. It doesn't judge anything as good or bad. It just is. This YouTube channel focuses so much on the practice of non-duality because I feel that realizing the self beyond the dualistic perspective and actually creating this balance between duality and non-duality, it is so important because it is then that we can truly allow the apparent duality and at the same time embrace our unity, the reality of unity. So, yes, this combination of duality and non-duality, it really paves the way for a peaceful and conscious lifetime. The second important paradox that I want to discuss is movement and stillness. Again, they may appear as two, but they are interwoven aspects of the same reality. The way to do is to be, Lao Tzu. With realizing and embracing the paradox of both movement and stillness, we move beyond rigid thinking of doing either one or the other, and we integrate them together, realizing that we can actually bring movement into stillness, being into doing. And in doing so, we actually accomplish much by doing less. And we utilize both desire and non-desire at the same time by applying effortless action towards our intuitive goals without attachment to outcome. So we do both essentially. We follow our dreams and our desires, but we do so in a state of desirelessness. We are not trying to force a particular outcome. We are not attached to a particular outcome. So yes, this is actually a state of being. It is an effortless action. It's a way of thinking, a way of being, and a way of acting in the world. When we apply too much forward-moving yang action energy, we try too hard and we repel the very thing that we are wanting. Perhaps you've seen this when someone is put off a potential love interest because they are just too keen. We can also see this manifest in the world of meditation practice when we are meditating with the intention of sitting in pure awareness away from thought, trying desperately to not think and using force, creating inattention only to exacerbate thinking. Yet, finding a relaxed alertness allows us to sit in a state of stillness without getting sucked into thought. We can still accomplish things with effortless action without forcing outcomes like nature, because the divine force that moves through nature also moves through us. So yes, we can fit stillness into movement. We can fit being into doing. We can find that flow with the natural current of life, because we're connecting to our divine essence, essentially. So, yes, by fitting trying into not trying, we're actually eliminating these opposites while simultaneously unifying them so that we can connect to the reality of oneness. Non-action achieves more than forceful action because true power comes from surrender, not control. We can learn again from nature that is so closely connected to the oneness of all life, and it has mastered the art of effortless action. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Lao Tzu. How can we practically bring stillness into movement? Well, in so many moments, we can interact with the world without thinking. We don't need to think all the time. We can walk through the forest in movement, but the mind is still in a state of being. We can do the washing up, but the mind is in the moment and not thinking about the next activity. There are so many movement meditations, such as Qigong and various yoga practices, that also bring stillness into movement. For more information on this, check out my video titled Balancing Being and Doing Eckhart Tolle. In Taoism, this concept of non-action and bringing stillness into movement is the concept of Wu Wei. By living according to this principle, we can learn to embody effortless action in every moment of life, fully participating in life and following our dreams, while also surrendering to its natural flow. Before I conclude this video, I just want to mention the paradox of light and dark that we are all playing with in this lifetime. We all have a shadow. We all have this inherent darkness to us that society strives to deny the existence of. So I feel that it is important to really realize our shadow, to embrace our darkness and actually integrate these parts of us, bringing them together to create a wholeness. For more information on this, check out my video titled Ready to Face Your Darkness, The Shadow and Active Imagination, Jungian Psychology. On this journey, you will undoubtedly be facing paradoxes internally, and it can be confusing. Part of you wants to resist what is happening in the moment, and another part of you wants to accept it. You feel like a walking contradiction because you feel like you're connected to something so much bigger than this ego personality, and you're beginning to experience deep interconnectedness with all life in certain beautiful moments, but then you're still totally preoccupied with your story and the little me. So remember that you are a paradox. Life is paradoxical. Embrace the mystery, embrace the misunderstanding, embrace both the duality and the non-duality, remembering that they both have their place in order to facilitate the existence of everything that you see and don't see in this miraculous, magnificent mystery that we currently are experiencing. So begin thinking paradoxically and just be in the paradox where everything just is. The mind might continue to label this and that and good and bad and right and wrong, but a deeper aspect of you knows and realizes and remembers a world beyond all opposites, beyond all labels, where there is only this, the pure infinite presence of existence itself. So thank you so much for watching this video. My name's Jasmine. If you really like this kind of content, then please like and subscribe. And yeah, I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye 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 bye.